hope you're having a great week. I hope you've had a great February. Welcome to this month's art vlog. There's so much that I have to share with you. Different paintings. I have some plant unboxing to do and to share. I am very awkward in front of the camera in this video as well. So I'm sorry if you're watching it and you're like, she's looking a little awkward in front of the camera. It's because I was a little awkward in front of the camera. But aside from all that, I am so glad that you're here and I really hope you enjoy this art vlog. So starting out, painting this cat in my cat sketchbook. You might be a little familiar with it if you watch my other Paint With Me in my cat sketchbook. This cat is a little bit of a cat that I saw on Instagram and also a little bit of my imagination. So I changed a little bit of this cat because I wanted to just try out painting and a few layers of watercolor instead of trying to paint in gouache. I've gone back and forth on whether or not I wanted to go back and try to paint this cat in gouache, but I decided to leave it as is. Right now you're seeing me mix a custom orange color because I didn't like how my orange cats were turning out, and I recently purchased some new watercolors, and in that little pan there on my palette I mixed a custom orange color to kind of help me get an orange, like a soft orange, to paint orange cats with, because I was definitely struggling a lot with painting orange cats, which was really weird. I thought I would struggle more with painting like black or white cats because it's not like you're painting with black or you're just painting with white. It's like you're painting the shadows and the highlights more, but that was a lot of fun for me. Painting the orange cats was very much a struggle for me because I just couldn't get the right colored orange. So this was the first time I was testing out that custom orange color that I made, as well as testing out some new watercolors that I had to see if I could make that perfect orange that I was looking for. This palette is my go-to botanical palette. I mostly paint all of my botanicals with this palette in these specific colors. To me personally, it helps make all of my botanical parts of my artwork look very similar. It also alleviates a lot of the stress of what colors I should choose. You have so many different greens and reds, and I don't know how they're all gonna mesh together. But by having this custom palette, I can always reach for the guaranteed colors that I know are gonna look good together. So I always keep this palette on hand when I want to paint my botanical parts of my artwork, and I always refill it and I always know what colors are in there and maybe one day I'll share it with you. At the moment, I consider this little illustration completed, but if you would like to see more of it, check it out on my Instagram. Everything is linked down below. The crazy thing about having curly hair is that you never really know what it looks like in the back. My hair is still wet, so hopefully it dries a little bit now that I've taken it out of its twist. But yeah, I have a goal to like grow my hair down to my butt, so it's like so long that it's an inconvenience. But right now it is pretty long. I don't know if you can see. My hair is still pretty long. It shrinks a lot when it's wet and curly, but I want it to be longer, and then I also just want to cut my hair. Like I want curly bangs like right up to here or something, but I don't wear my hair curly very often, so I don't know if it's really worth it. The oil that I just used smells so good. It's from Pros. It's like my custom hair formula for hair growth and length and health and stuff. But it smells so good. I feel like I use it all the time. I think it has like grapeseed oil in it. But yeah, I feel like I use it all the time. And it smells like so good. But I still have so much left. It's crazy. I've learned from my therapist, like talking with my therapist, that smells really matter to me, and it really affects my mood and how I feel about my environment. So in my ceramics class, I had some slabs left over for when I was making my mugs and paint cups. I used a dandelion stamp, and I had some stamped pieces that were left over, and my teacher, well, she's not my teacher anymore. Well, my teacher, she said that you could make this like essential oil slow diffusers, I think they're called. Like you just put a little drop of essential oils on these, and they kind of emit the essential oil slowly into the environment. I put one in my drawer where my clothes are. I have two different kinds. One that you can just put in your drawers, and one that you can hang if you want to. And I put one in my drawer. I use some of the essential oils that I find very calming, like lavender oil, mint, or I think it's spearmint. Mint and lavender are really calming scents to me, and they are not super harsh. I'm very sensitive to like different smells, and I am really excited to give these away to some of my coworkers. And I'm also thinking about putting some up on my Etsy store. So I decided to go with Etsy instead of putting it up on my own website. I decided to go with opening up an Etsy store again. I've previously had an Etsy store when I used to make soaps and candles. I wasn't super successful with like making sales or anything, but I didn't really know much about anything back then. I just wanted to make stuff and I wanted to sell them. So I made an Etsy store, and then I closed it, and I've had it ever since. I love shopping on Etsy, especially. I love shopping for handmade paints. And I was thinking that I could reopen my Etsy store and put some of my ceramics up there, put some of my prints up there, and I know that Etsy has changed a lot, but I think it would be a lot easier for me, like marketing wise, and also for taxes if I did everything on Etsy. So I'm deciding that I want to put some of these up there on Etsy too, because it's a small handmade ceramic item. I've learned that scents really matter to me, and I've been trying to incorporate smells that calm me down. If I'm feeling really anxious, I try to remind myself that I could have a little bit more control of my environment by picking the scents that I choose and that calm me down when I'm feeling anxious. And I hope that these little guys can help someone else out too if they're feeling really anxious or need something to help them calm down if they're not feeling so great. So I'm really excited for these. I've also updated my plant collection just a tiny bit. I have some beautiful ferns. I have a heart-shaped fern that it's like so cute, and when I saw it I had to get it. And it's so cute. It's heart-shaped. And I love like this leaf shape. A lot of like philodendrons have this like leaf shape. And I've been on plant YouTube way too much, and I think that's why I have gone a little wild with plants. But I have a couple of ideas in my head for a painting this month. I want them to be themed around my plants, so my heart-shaped fern and my string of pearls, because it's, I guess, Valentine's Day, and I love plants. And they are plants that I have in my studio. So I've been toying around with this idea in my head, and I'm trying to sketch it out and practice in my sketchbook before I go in on cotton paper and finalize the plan for the painting. I've also been practicing botanical artwork in my other sketchbook. I sit down as often as I can, and if I'm not feeling super tired, I try to sit down and practice in my sketchbook some botanical drawings, because I really want to get better at drawing botanicals and painting them. The book that I have that I'm using to practice is actually for drawing in color pencil and very little watercolors. So I'm modifying it a little bit to be more focused on watercolors. I hope you like that little planning slash studying little segment that I left there to kind of help guide you in my thought process and also what I get up to throughout the week, trying to study my botanicals, trying to plan out a painting for this month. And here is my attempt at artistically showing off some of the new plants in my studio and some of my old plants. I felt like it was such a pretty sunny day that I had to share it a little bit. Hey everyone, I thought it would be fun to share a little unboxing. I have some plants to unbox from Seattle Orchids, and I'm really excited. It didn't stay in the post very long, maybe about 4 days or 3 days or so. So I'm excited to open this up I think I mentioned that I was gonna get some miniature mini orchids for my little greenhouse with jewel orchids in it. So I think I shared that already, but if not, that's the plan. I already have two that I'm waiting to be notified when they're back in stock, but I did purchase two here and then one on Etsy that I'm waiting into next week to get because I will be not home and I want to be home when they arrive. But yeah, let's get started. I'm really excited to open this bad boy up and see how my plants made it. Hopefully they did. Looks like we have one little flower spike happening, a little bud. But it's so cute and little. This one is the, I can't even pronounce these names. Harella rectocalia, maybe? Here's the name. I think I'm doing that justice, maybe. I know it's definitely Harella, I'm pretty sure, but like, you see there's like something growing in here, and there's another one over here, and there's another little one over there. But yeah, I don't know what's growing in this moss, because this is the main plant. I don't think these are baby orchids. I think that it's just something random growing in there. This is what it's supposed to look like, the flowers. It's still like a mini orchid, but not as tiny as other orchids can be. But it's still really cute, and I love like the yellow green flowers with the bright purple lip. That's so pretty to me. And then you can kind of see that a little bit with the bud coming in, that it's like slightly purple in the middle. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. I'm gonna put this in here. Packaging was really great. So far, so good. Other than something randomly growing in the moss, everything seems pretty good. Very environmentally friendly. Oh, this one has a flower. I don't want to damage the flower. No. Oh, it looks like it's already kind of damaged slash drying out a little bit, but that's okay. That is a-okay. This one is in some orchid mix, just some orchid bark it looks like. I'm not even gonna be able to pronounce that, but I'll show you the I'll show you the card. But this is what it looks like, and you can see it has like a little flower. I really loved how the flowers looked because it just reminded me of like a little like flying angel butterfly thing, like flying bird. The reason why I got this one is because I really love how the flower looked. It looked like a little like dancing lady, like fluttering, like a beautiful skirt fluttering, and like the fan like leaves. I just thought it just reminded me of like a beautiful dress fluttering, or like a bird, like a pretty bird with very lacy like flowers spreading its wings or something. I don't know. I just thought it was really pretty, so I got this girl, and it looks like the flowers starting to dry out, and I think some of them got a little crushed and misshapen and everything, but overall looks pretty healthy. Looks really nice. It's an orchid bark, so I'm just gonna leave it in that till I get my bark to mount them on. But yeah, very, very pretty. Here's the name. There we go. I'm really happy with my purchases. I hope that they are able to adjust now that they're in my home and that they're going to be healthy and happy. The leaves are looking a little bit dehydrated maybe, so I'm going to give them some water because I know that miniature orchids, they like to be wet and then dry out throughout the day. So I'm going to start the routine this morning and get them nice and moist so they can have some time to dry out later. So I might have done something a little bit impulsive, just a little bit. So you probably saw a little bit of me working on this painting right here. I was working on the background of the painting and I did something impulsive. I've already ordered from the shop already for my birthday on February 11th. I wanted to get some, handmade watercolors for myself on Etsy. And I don't know if you're watching my Instagram stories in real time or you're watching this video now. I just found the most heavenly paint mixture ever. So this is all I have of this paint. A little dot card. It's called Daydream, and the artist is, I'm gonna put her handle down below and her Etsy shop down below if you want to check her out. But she makes like vegan, sustainably sourced mica shimmer watercolors, and I really love this color mixed with Forest Brown by Schmieke. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct. Schmieke, I don't know. But it's a granulating, like greenish brown watercolors. It's called Forest Brown, but it's like a dark, semi brown watercolor, and I mixed those two together. Chef kiss. I was like, I have to get a half pan of this color. I have to have Daydream in my palette. So instead of just buying one color, I bought two more just to make like the shipping worth it, because it is coming like abroad. Like these watercolors are coming from Europe, so it's gonna take some time for it to get here, which I'm totally cool with that. Like I haven't even gotten my first order yet, so I know that the second order is gonna take even more time. Probably won't get it until later March or maybe April. I don't know, but I am really excited to add this paint and try out some of the other paints. And I need to stop shopping for watercolors. What can we do? We have to have self-control. My cat, what he's actually telling me is that he wants me to feed him. So I'm gonna feed him and I'm gonna feed myself, and I will see you in the next clips. While working on this painting, I always try to remind myself, especially now that I am actively thinking about ways of improving my painting, I remind myself that layering is my friend, and to not be afraid of going over my initial wash of watercolors 3 times, 4 times, whatever amount that I need to, without just petting the paper. I learned this term. I use it a lot in ceramics too, where you're just petting the clay. You're not really doing anything. You're not really improving the painting or the ceramic work that you're doing. You're just constantly petting the paper or petting the clay, and that can do more harm than good. I try to consciously think about why am I putting a second layer down and if it needs that layer. With the hair, I try to work in one layer. I bounce back and forth between one side of the head and the other and layer down multiple washes of forest brown and forest gray. So they probably don't look very well. I think forest brown does look very brown, but forest gray is more of the brown, and then forest brown is more of the greenish brown, if that makes really any sense at all. But I use these two colors in combination. They're both by Schminke and they're both in my granulating watercolor palette, because I loved how they break apart and I love the texture. And if you know curly hair, it has lots of texture, and that's what I wanted to convey in my painting. But what I didn't want to do is overdo it or overwork that part of the painting, so I was very mindful about how many layers. And in a way, this was only one layer. I didn't go back once the paint had dried and put the second layer down or anything like that. I just let it all sit in one layer, and I just layered on top of it, more wet on damp kind of style, like it wasn't completely wet. And then when I was done layering on my paint, I went in with a clean wet brush to get some blooms, and I love the results. And it made me fall in love with my granulating watercolor palette again. And this might be hard to believe, but I mostly do all of my color planning in my head, and I often don't write notes or make a color sheet plan. I am very familiar with the watercolors that I have and that I love to use and I pick up very often. And because I always keep a swatch sheet somewhere, either in my sketchbook or within my palette, I always know what colors I have available, and I just go for it. I just mix on the palette, and I oftentimes don't check to see if it's the exact color that I want, but I always find a way to make it work. And I think that's because of the colors that I choose. And so for this painting, although my brain was consciously aware that these colors went well together, I was also just having fun in the freedom of not really planning, but knowing that it was going to work out in the end. And it did work out in the end, and I'm really glad that it did. I did really think about whether or not I wanted to paint the dress pink or blue, but in the end I did go with my staple turquoise blue and gouache to paint the dress, and also mixed in different gouache colors as well. I didn't go only turquoise blue. I think that's the amazing thing about gouache, is that you can make amazing blends and you can have a lot of fun with it. When I finally got to paint the little heart-shaped ferns, I struggled a little bit with the ones in the back, and then I think I found my rhythm with the ones that were in the front. So I'm glad that I reminded myself to start from left to right, because oftentimes I jump around in my paintings and I don't always start from left to right, and then I end up dipping my hand into my work and smudging everything. But I think in this instance it definitely helped me, because I was able to work out any issues I had with the paint and the subject matter in the background. And then I used what I learned from painting those heart-shaped ferns to make a better choice with the ones that were in the forefront. And I really love it. I think it really looks nice, which is really hard for me to compliment myself. But I think that they turned out really nicely, because the ones that are behind her do blend into the background because they're much darker, and the ones that are in front of her look lighter. It looks normal and natural, at least to me. Maybe others have different opinions, but I think this is a big improvement for my artwork, and I'm very glad that I was able to share so much of it with you. I know this video is a long one, so thank you so much if you are here still and listening to my commentary and enjoying me painting Fern.
Slowly we take on phosphorescence, vivid in the bond, phosphorescence. In the heavens, a billion signals move, call and answer, dozen pairs of two by two. Slowly we take on phosphorescence, vivid in the bond, phosphorescence. Midnight halos twist tied together, turning on we take on.
I hope you enjoyed watching this art vlog and enjoyed watching the painting process of Fern. I really hope you enjoyed this painting. This was definitely a big jump for me. And using cold pressed paper, I feel like helped me make this big jump in my artwork. So I hope you really like it. I am looking forward to all your comments, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye.
Phosphorescent